much, and I want to thank all those who have been here to testify, and for those who have served. I want to thank you so much for your service. I'm going to start off with my first point, and I think what I'm going to do is ask everybody, because I think you all spoke to it. I'm going to start with Mr. Turpin because he hasn't spoken yet. But what I have heard from many, many veterans is that services are not veteran-centric. They're not focused on the needs of the veterans. And I understand that that's very complex because veterans have had many different experiences. But one of the things that really concerns me is that services don't seem to be at VAC trauma informed. And what I mean by that is I've heard and read a lot of things that come out of VAC where it's very much the tone is you're not behaving, and if you don't do what we are asking you to do by this date, you will face the consequences and we will remove everything. And that worries me because obviously if people are in that kind of need for care, they often do call yelling. They often do have to process in a way that can be very hard, but I would love to see people more trained to respond in that way. So Mr. Turpin, if I could just ask you on your opinion around having workers at VAC have a deeper depth of trauma-informed services, hopefully with a lot more veterans working there to provide that service to veterans.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord avec ce que vous dites.
I completely agree with what you're saying and the situation you're broaching. The problem is it's not just the Veterans Affairs. It is the services that are offered by the specialists that were referred to immediately after being let go. So people who are outside the organization, the civilians, they don't understand the trauma of those veterans. So they don't know how to adjust, how to adapt. They don't know how to help us directly because they have no experience. They have no idea. Veterans, yes, I think they're doing everything they can. They do as much as they can, but it is teams that should be trained, where some of those specialists in various areas, they would have a basic idea of what a veteran is so that they would be able to help veterans. For me, unfortunately, it is like a lost battle in my case. I mean, I'm trying not to be too pessimistic. There's nothing serious that's going to happen right away. But it's just that with everything I've tried to do research on to help myself, well, it's very difficult to help me because nobody understands my situation. But the advantages are still here. We see improvements every year. So this is very clear. As I've said to you, during my time in the reserve, I didn't have any help after I came back from mission. But now the reserve officer coming back from deployment, they do get services. So we're on the right track. And it's been like this for a few years, but there's still a lot to build. And we will continue to build because people are very different.
I am a daughter of an RCMP veteran. Sorry, my video cut out there. I am a daughter of an RCMP veteran. I take that very pridefully, and I'm proud to be a part of this community. And my experiences within my own family, I didn't realize would be so impactful in working with the veterans that I have worked with and currently work with. In my roles, I have been trained on the ASSIST program, so that is key for my ability to support someone who is in a suicidal, perhaps state of mind or instance. The other major course that I've taken is a mental health first aid course. I've had the opportunity to co-facilitate it, and it is absolutely so important, and I believe strongly that those types of courses, those two in particular, are extremely beneficial for anybody who is working with these clients and coworkers and comrades and however you identify them as. Recently, I spoke with a veteran on the phone, and he was very, very upset with his experience, very upset with his release and what was happening in regards to our conversation. And I used my personal experience as a way of helping him understand that I can understand. I'm not a veteran. I don't have that experience. But as a daughter of an RCMP officer who perhaps never identified that he had challenges, I recognize now that he does. Diagnosed or not, he is having challenges, and having to navigate that with limited support has been challenging. But I take, like I said, a lot of pride in the work that I've done and the access to the supports that I've been able to work with.
Thank you. I only have a couple minutes or seconds. So, Mr. Senior, and then if we can close with Ms. Hughes, I really appreciate
yes. So there's no continuity of services for the same injuries, which is a bit of a problem. Veterans talk. Even after we leave the service, our cell phones don't get hung up. We still talk to a lot of people. As I said, I connected with 18,000 veterans about the War Monument thing but what I'm trying to get with this is our injuries don't go on pause while the decision's being made. Our life still has to go on. And because there's no continuity whatsoever, it is a mixed deck of cards, and it's very frustrating because we don't know what we're going to get, okay? So some of the services we're getting are really, really good, but they don't last. Because when it's good and vets are getting happy, it gets cut. And then we get something we don't like. So I'm sorry.
Thank you. What I can say is that it is convoluted. Services are different for everybody. So it depends on what service you're talking about. But our Legion service officers deal with that every day, the command ones. Whether it's somebody was denied IRB or the critical injury benefit or just denied for a disability claim, we help with all of that. So, and I see the discrepancies across the board in a lot of benefits. Thank you, Chair.